Guys, I'm Captain Marshall Sparkman. So I do mortgage loans for a living, and I wanted to have a conversation, just us vet to vet talking here. So we're just hanging out, having a conversation. And I get a lot of people ask me about doing mortgage loans and using a VA loan and what it's like and what all you need to do to get started. So I wanted to just kind of briefly have a conversation with two friends here about the VA loan process and what it needs. So the first thing you need to do is verify that you are going to get your VA eligibility. So you can easily do that on the eBenefits website. If you guys haven't gone on the eBenefits website, if you've been out of the service for a little bit, it's freaking amazing. They got your DD-214, your service records, a lot of health records. It's got a lot of stuff on there that we used to not have back in the day, but now they're trying to get everything digitized, and ebenefits.gov is the site to go to. And on there, you can apply for a certificate of eligibility, which will tell us if you have eligibility to get a VA loan or not. So if you serve active duty and if you deployed, more than likely you do have eligibility. The only time it becomes a question is if you had a short length of service, or if you were National Guard or Coast Guard, or if you served in the Guard of some sort. So, but if you served in any active duty time, and especially if you deployed, you can go ahead and guarantee that you got a certificate of eligibility, unless if you've had foreclosures or other government delinquencies such as student loans or any other garnishments in the past. You can assume that you have eligibility. So the second thing you need to do is you need to apply for the mortgage. So what do we look at when you're applying for a mortgage? I'm looking at three things. I'm looking at your cash, looking at your credit, and I'm looking at your income. Cash, credit, and income. Cash really isn't that important with the VA loan because it's a 100% loan. So you don't have to put any money down, but the VA still wants to, the matrix that they run to determine if you're going to qualify or not takes into account if you have the ability to save money. If you have the ability to save money, they're not worried about giving you a loan at 100% because they know you're going to be responsible with your money. But if you're running insufficient funds every month out of your bank account and you don't know how to balance a checkbook, you're probably going to have a difficult time getting a mortgage. So credit scores, the VA, although they say they have no minimum credit score requirements, anything below a 620, sometimes even 640 if you don't have any money in the bank, it becomes a little bit more difficult. So if you got good credit, you got absolutely nothing to worry about. If you have less than perfect credit, the VA may scrutinize getting you a loan approval based on your credit history. So if you pay your bills on time, you got nothing to worry about. If you got a problem paying your bills on time and balancing your checkbook, you don't have any money in the bank, you're probably not going to qualify for a VA loan. So that's just cut and dry. Last thing is income. So what they do is they take all your debts and then you add a new house to your debts. So that's your total debt load. All your current debts that I'm going to see on the credit report, your autos, student loans, credit cards, any other mortgages you have, whatever's on your credit report, plus a new house. And then they're going to divide that by your income. So for example, if you have $5,000 a month worth of debts and you make $10,000 a month, that would be a 50% debt to income ratio. So take your total debts, divide it by plus a new house, divide it by your total income. That will give you your debt to income ratio. VA typically does not like to approve much more than 45%, although on cases if you have good credit and you have if you have good credit and you have money in the bank, they'll allow you to go a little bit higher. So everything's kind of dependent on your specific scenario. But as long as your debt to income, you don't want to buy a big massive house, the VA is going to make sure that you're being really responsible with your money because let's face it, they don't want to have to pay us back. So the third thing that I like to talk to a lot of people about is collecting documents. So the government's completely taken over the mortgage business, man, and this is 2016 now, going into 2017, and there's a lot of documents that are required to get a mortgage loan because our industry almost took down the entire world's economy. So now you can guarantee that we're regulated. So we're going to ask for pay stubs, bank statements, tax returns, copy of your ID, your DD-214. If you have any service-connected disabilities, we're going to request a lot of documentation from you. So just be prepared for that. Just know it's a part of the process. Know if I'm asking you for a bunch of stuff, I'm not singling you out. It's the same rigmarole that everybody has to jump through to get a mortgage loan. So the government's going to make sure that you can make your payments and that you're not going to be a high risk and be a part of the economy collapsing again. If you have had some bad things happen to you in the past, man, it's okay. You got a lot of good things. Bad things happen to a lot of good people. It's not a big deal. I can help you walk through those things and help you overcome that. But just plan on getting all your documentation together and over to me. And then typically I like to sit down face to face and just have a good old-fashioned conversation. As long as you're in town, most of my clients, I meet with almost all of my clients face to face unless if they're out of town and relocating here that I can't. if you are out of town, then we could do a Skype or some kind of Google chat or something like that, but we're going to talk. So I like to make sure that you know all the facts, you understand everything you're getting yourself into, you understand the beautiful part of homeownership, and you understand the ugly parts of homeownership. So I want to make sure that you got enough money to move. We'll talk about your earnest money, paying for appraisal, all the costs that you're going to have to come out of pocket. We're going to talk about what your monthly payment's going to be. We'll talk about your down payment if you decide to put any. So talk about interest rates, whatever. There's a lot of things that I cover in an initial consult. So it's good to come in, and it's always good to come in a couple months before you're looking to purchase, because that way if you've got any issues with your credit or your income, I can easily tell you, hey man, why don't you look at doing this differently or doing that, or pay this credit card down and it'll boost your credit score. There's always easy ways. So I've been doing this for going on 9 years now. I've gotten good at it. I specialize in VA loans. So it gives me the opportunity to be able to look at your situation and tell you immediately what you need to do. And I've closed hundreds and hundreds of other veterans, thousands. So I know what to do, and I know what it's going to take to get you the best deal possible on a mortgage and into a house. When it comes to dealing with real estate agents, I know the game inside and out. So just know you've got a friend here that will shoot straight with you right here locally in the greater Nashville area that you can turn to. So I'm here for you guys. If you ever need anything from me or my team anytime, you just know we've got your back. I'm out.